Topic is the role of banks in Indian economy. I mean, this is very fascinating. This is the terms which you use on a daily basis. Banks, Indian economy. So in the next 10 minutes, I will give you a clear picture on the role of banks in Indian economy. So let's move forward. So before we go to talk about the role of banks in Indian economy, the very first question arises in our mind. What is the reason? What is the reason to choose this topic? Why we need to discuss the role of banks in the Indian economy. Then there is a statistic, all of you, around 40% of the 40% of Indian population, they have adult population, they don't have bank account. Yeah, it's really. I'm not only talking about the urban area. I'm also considering the rural area. And the 40% adult population, they don't have bank account. Means they are unbanked. And again, there is expectation that in the next 2 to 3 years, Indian banking has to our GDP 2 to 3%. So that means there are some things that we need to be considered. That's why I picked these topics to tell you and to explore in front of you so that you could get the clear picture of role of banks in Indian economy. So before going to start, the term is bank, which we should know that it's Italian banco. There are lots of definition of the bank. But now the big question is, what is the standard definition? What would be the general? So I have come across with all these things, and then I got one standard definition, that is, the bank is the place. Bank is the place where we often find up when we are seeking a problem in financial related query. I'm again repeating. Bank is the place where we often find up when we are seeking a problem in financial crisis and money related query. So this is exactly about the bank. Now move to the next. History.
You want me to suspend this session? I'm not able to suspend.
Now moving forward, history of banking history of banking in India. It started from the 1786, the General Bank of India, which is established. Then 1806, the Bank of Calcutta, later Bank of Bengal, and 1992. I'm going to tell you the bank, Imperial Bank of India, first the Bank of Hindustan, then it's changed to the name to SBI, State Bank of India. All of us know that. And 1860, first foreign bank introduced in India, and that's name is Compaq Discovery Deep Banks. So simply, but this is the first foreign bank which established in India country. Now the origin of the Indian banking goes on, but in 1969 nationalization takes place. Nationalization, that means all the government introduced the license to do all the banks to get the government subsidy on it. Then the 1990s liberalization. This is the key one. Narasimha, all of us know that. Narasimha is the chairman of the Narasimha committee, and he was the same person who embarked in the liberalization. And he coined the word new generation techno-savvy. New generation techno-savvy, that's why he introduced that time ATM and internet banking. So the ATM internet banking was coming just because of this liberalization, just because of the Narasimha law. So this is and a new license, and the thing is going on. So let's move forward. Whenever we talk about the banks, its role in Indian economy, we should need to talk about the banking terms. Repo rate, reverse repo, all of us in the daily life, we always get that, we always heard this word. What is repo rate? The RBI increases, decreases, all of us did it. So today I am going to tell you in a very, in a summarized way, what is repo reverse. So repo rate, basically, it is a rate at which our banks borrow rupees from RBI. It is a rate at which our banks borrow rupees from RBI. It's very simple. If you talk about the current, what is the current repo rate is going on, then it's a 8%. As according to the guideline by the RBI. Reverse repo rate is exactly opposite to the repo rate. In that case, RBI borrows rupees from the bank. Basically, RBI uses this tool to increase the, to floating the money, to handle the money which is floating on the system. Then CRR stands for the cash reserve ratio. Basically, it is the banks need to, the bank need to capture, handle to the SM amount to the RBI. So this is the cash reserve ratio. Basically, if you talk about the importance, current ratio is growing at 4%. It's a current ratio by the RBI. Then SLR, stand for the statutory liquidity ratio. In that case, commercial banks, they have to keep the money in the form of gold security. So this is the exactly SLR. If we talk about its current ratio, then it's 23%. Bank rate, it's again the loan provided to the banks, that's very different to different. Deposit rate, what we did, the banks, as according to the RBI guideline, they introduced the deposit rate and they have given the limit to all the banks. They can choose their saving rate, interest on saving rate, and according to their banks. Like Yes Bank providing 7%, Kotak is 6%, so it varies from bank to bank. And the last but not least is PLR. It stands for the prime lending ratio. Basically, it is interest charged by the banks to their most credit-worthy customers. So this is the some kind of the clear picture on the banking terms. Now let's move forward. I don't think I need to put too much light on what you all must know that accepting deposit, functions of banks, accepting deposit from public, lending money to public, transfer money. All of you know that. I don't think I need to put too much light on it. Now let's move forward. Reserve Bank of India types of banks. Basically, the Reserve Bank of India has categorized in a very structured way. Scheduled banks. So scheduled banks and then commercial, cooperatives, public firms. And there is a statistic. There are the approx 31 private banks existing in India country, 37 foreign banks, and approx 27 public sector banks are existing in our India country. So that is all the types of banks. Move forward. Growth of banking, that's very important. As I talked about phase one, this is the phase of nationalization. The RBI introduced the bank and they provide a nationalization to the various bank. Then the phase two is that's called the liberalization. The time was the Narasimha Rao and the Narasimha Committee, and all this internet banking, all these techno-civil banking introduced in that particular phase. And the last phase is financial inclusion. That is very important because financial inclusion is that it provides the services to the bank, to the lower class people, all the benefits to the lower class people. So that is the phase 3. Now let's move forward. Indian economy. Again, all of you know that India is the 10th largest economy in the world. And if you talk about, if you need to measure the Indian economy, then it's by the microeconomic point of view and the macroeconomic point of view. Micro known as the bank analyze the behavior in the individual consumer, individual fund basis, and then is macro is a big picture, like national income or unemployment measure on this all basis. Now let's move forward. The greatest role of the banks in Indian economy. If you talk about banks, you could not forget RBI, stand for the Reserve Bank of India, which is established in the 1st April 1934. So basically, RBI have done so many things. You always got the news that RBI increases the repo rate and they decreases the repo. Why? They contributing towards our economy. They somewhere, putting too much pressure or too much kind of the restriction, so that the money could not be floated too much. And that's why they also want to introduce the information and communication technology. So they also introduce onto it so that they can, get impact with all the people, not only the urban but also the rural area people. So this is the RBI is doing. Now, if you talk about there are so many banks, and through this the Indian economy is growing or Indian economy is getting affected in a positive way. But then if you talk about the last is role of NABARD. This is the bank which provide help to the small business in a rural area. There is an article, I got the news from one article, and there is always in a dilemma, in a chaos, that only the blue chip company and the company which are listed help to our Indian economy. This is true, but there are approx 5,000 medium-sized companies which also contributing to our economy. And NABARD is the same bank which helping to the small business to provide a fund to the small business so that they can grow, and they can get the fund. They can also contribute to our economy. So this is the role of NABARD. Friends, to talk about, I have talked lots of things. Maybe you mess with that, and maybe you don't. But the thing is, you always in a dilemma. What would be all this thing in a summarized way? So that's why I have summarized all the role of banks in Indian economy into a 3 points, so that you could get at what he talked about, and you can also analyze what is the role of banks in Indian economy. So in the 3 ways, first is the role of banks is the operation of payment system. Second is the mobilization of saving, and the last but not least is allocation of saving to investment process. So this is the major role of the banks in Indian economy. That's it. That's all from my side.